Hello again. Today I'm going to show you how to perform a palm upward block in rear foot stance. The purpose of an upward block is to spring up the opponent's attacking limb for attacks aiming for your solar plexus or area slightly above. Now the most common tool is the palm, but there are other tools you can use. But I'll be showing you with the palm because that's the most common, as I said. To form the palm, you just keep the hand open, fingers are close together, but there's no need to squeeze the fingers as you do with knife hand or fingertip. It's more important to keep the wrist tense so that it doesn't buckle when you do the block. And I'll be showing you this block in rear foot stance later, but we'll start off doing it in L stance because you're probably more familiar with L stance. To perform the block, you go into a neutral position, so you relax the body, bend the knees, and then from there, as you raise your body to wind up for the technique, you circle your blocking arm around, extend the opposite arm in front of you. By the time you finish raising your body, your palm should be at the lowest point of the circle and the opposite arm extended, but not fully, so it's just slightly in front there. And as you perform the technique, you drop sharply, pull the fist to your hip and spring up with that blocking hand, there, like that. So try and get a good action from your elbow to spring up. And the focal point will be the solar plexus level, okay? But you're going to follow through slightly to get that spring in action like that, okay? Now a common mistake is to bring the hand too far back on the circular motion like that and to do a big motion. It's a small circle and the hand should always be in front. If you bring your hand too far back, you leave yourself open to the opponent. So from here, you relax. The hand is always in front, like that, okay? And you drop. And don't forget to complete the block as you step down and also do your breath at the same time. Okay, so it's worth practicing this in L stance before moving on to rear foot stance. So practice that as a drill. So that's the block in L stance, and it could also be done in walking stance. But I'll be showing you how to do it in rear foot stance because that's movement number 3 and number 6 of Jung Gun Tul, which is a pattern I'll be covering very soon. To form rear foot stance, you position your feet like this. The distance between the small toes is about 1 shoulder width apart. Notice that the heel of the front foot is slightly off the ground, but you don't need to lift it up excessively. Nearly all the weight will be on the rear leg. You just touch gently with the ball of the foot of the front foot. The knee of the rear foot should line up with the toes of the rear foot. And the heel of the front foot will be slightly beyond the heel of the rear foot. Your front foot should be turned in 25 degrees and the rear foot turned in 15 degrees. So when you perform the block, bend your rear leg so your body will drop and then your front foot will just touch as you finish the block. So this is how palm upward block in rear foot stance will look like. So as I said before, the palm is the most common tool for the upward block, but you can also use twin palm like this for 2 opponents. You can also use the reverse knife hand for a single opponent or twin reverse knife hand for 2 opponents. There's also the thumb ridge, blocking with this area, so you bend the wrist, or the bow wrist, this area, top of the wrist, where you bend the wrist forward. So all these tools can be used for upward block. Now try not to get confused with palm scooping block. Palm scooping block looks very similar to an upward block, but it's used to pick up the opponent's limb and throw them off balance. So it's a lot slower and it's not as sharp, whereas the upward block will be very sharp to spring up their limb. Yeah? So try not to get confused about that. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you join me for my next lesson. See you next time.